And welcome back to WCCF Tech TV, everyone. This is Keith once again, and it is the holiday season and everyone's looking for a deal. I get it, but you still need to be on the lookout for the good old-fashioned scam. See, someone earlier asked me about a GTX 960 they found on eBay, and after a quick look, I knew that something was fishy. After all, a GeForce GTX 960 4GB for $39 is a heck of a deal. Sure, it's an older card and an older architecture, but depending on the games that somebody's playing, it may be the perfect card for them. So why wouldn't you spend 40 bucks on one rather than the 80 to 100 plus? The thing is, I've never actually seen this particular design on a 960. In fact, it reminded me of an older scam that I've seen in the past involving the GTX 750 Ti. So a little bit of digging was in order. See, I almost ordered one for myself just to see what you were actually getting, but I took a quick look at it, and I also found tons of them on eBay ranging from $39 to $50, and they were all sponsored, meaning that they would be more noticeable than the more legitimate GTX 960s that were being sold on eBay. I mean, you know, so it would actually push these to the top, and people who were selling their legitimate cards would be pushed kind of to the bottom. You know, who would want to spend more for the same thing, right? Well, thankfully the bozos trying to scam people out put up a poorly photoshopped GPU screen where they simply changed the card name and a few other items. What are you actually getting for your $50 that you're getting scammed out of? Well, taking a look at the GPU-Z, we saw some huge indicators that this was not a GTX 960. One was the core count, another was memory bandwidth, and then shader clocks. And we'll get to these in just a second. See, they were sort of slick with this one. After all, they had the right name and even the right vendor ID. But these several things caught my eye real quick. A memory bandwidth of 57.7 gigabytes per second is a far cry from the 112.2 gigabytes that the GTX 960 pumps out. Well, at least they got the 128-bit bus right. The biggest offender comes in the form of them leaving the shader clock displayed. And now NVIDIA hasn't used this since they moved away from Fermi with the GTX 600 series, so the 400 and 500 series had it. Getting a little closer there, we don't have to look quite so far. Furthermore, the GTX 960 has 1024 CUDA cores, which is much more than the 192 displayed in the GPU-Z screenshot. So at the end of the day, what you're really getting for your hard-earned money is just a GTS 450. Yes, a 400 series Kepler card. First gen. This card can hardly compare to the GTX 960 in any other way other than being made by NVIDIA. I mean, again, it's first gen Kepler. Just to compare the specs that weren't edited to the spec page from NVIDIA with themselves, and you'll see for yourself. So, you know, we've got the same core count, 192, 738 megahertz graphics clock, processor clock, or the shader clock of 1566, memory clock of 1834, and look at that, the memory bandwidth of 57.7. So, yeah, there you have it. But Keith, the scam card says it has 4 gigabytes, and we know that the GTS 450 was a 1 gigabyte card. Okay, I'll give you that, since the most likely memory capacity you'll find on a GTS 450 was in fact 1 gigabyte of GDDR5. Now, I did do a little looking, of course, through Google, so no real sleuthing there, and found a model that was available in China with 4 gigabytes of DDR3. So it's likely that that's where the source of all of these are coming from. And even then, if they're using DDR3, they're lying again on the memory bandwidth. So, long story short, don't get caught by this scam. Warn your friends and family to be cautious of listings that are too good to be true in this holiday season. If you're not in tune with the industry very well, I could easily see how you'd be falling prey to a scam like this. After all, this one listing has sold over 60 units in one day. So this has been Keith with WCCF Tech TV. Hope you stay safe this holiday season, and we'll catch you in the next video.